This is the Texas State Disc Golf Championships presented by Latitude 64. We're in Tyler, Texas at the Thorn, a new design by Greg Barsby. This is the third Disc Golf Pro Tour event of the year. I'm Madison Walker, and I'm joined today by Holly Finley in the commentary booth.
Surprise, surprise.
Erica Stinchcomb come down with a little bit of a cold, so we're giving her a week off. And today we get to watch Catrina Allen. We get to watch our own Holly Finley, who is in the booth, Valerie Mandujano coming fresh off that Waco win, and Maria Oliva, a Texas local, just like Valerie Mandujano. Let's watch them attack. Hole 1 is a par 3. It's 382 feet. There is out of bounds all the way down the right-hand side on that road. The play is to throw a big hyzer out there over OB and try to get as close as you can to this pyramid. And let me tell you, folks, it is taller than it looks.
Thanks to Disc Barn for the sweet drone flyovers.
We did not have a lot of wind out there today. It was a really nice, calm morning, a little dewy.
First up on the box, let's get a big round of applause going for Catrina Allen.
Most of that pyramid is inside the circle, but it is crazy when you're standing at around 33 feet looking up at a basket that is easily 33 feet high.
That looked a bit high, but, you know, it's up there where she can pitch up and hopefully take an easy 3.
Finley.
I always love having someone in the commentary booth that is on the coverage. Very excited about this.
It's kind of weird. I'm throwing a Star Shrike, hoping for that road flare skip.
Yeah.
And I get pinned deep, but a little outside of circle 1.
Third up on the box for your 9:50 tee time. Put your hands together for Valerie Mandujano.
Valerie had some really strong play at Waco that we got to watch in the final round. Also had a really strong showing at Belton. Cannot wait to see her attack the new Thorn.
I love how flat that is. Not really flirting with the road much, but far enough for a decision to go for it or lay it up.
Let's get a big round of applause going for Maria Oliva.
A little extra growl for Maria.
Star Destroyer from Maria.
Really trusting that one to come back. It's a nice big flare skip.
Past the pyramid, Maria is absolutely crushing it right now.
Yeah, she got every bit of that 382 feet.
So Valerie just opting for a hopefully safe layup. A little too much hyzer on it. She'll be back on the other side.
This played as the second most difficult hole on the day. Statistically, I'd say that's because of lack of birdies, but there is that out of bounds and the possibility of multiple putting on this very tall basket.
So even though I'm pinned deep, I didn't really want to risk the craziness on hole 1, and I just laid it up for a safe par.
I'm sure that a lot of the women that did get close enough to get putts on this hole probably did opt for that same move here. It's just not worth it to have to try to putt at this basket more than once. Maria looks like she's lining it up.
Boom!
And guess what, folks? Only birdie on the day on hole 1.
And I got to see it. Look at you, Maria Oliva. Way to start off hot.
Valerie from probably 12 to 15 feet, but looking straight up at it.
It's a solid putt. A little bit of a tester here to start off, too. This is such an intimidating green for a first hole.
Oh, yeah.
Like, welcome to Texas. I hope it's not windy.
Yeah.
Kat tapping in for her par. And I'll be doing the same.
Par feels good on this hole. Feels in the game plan.
That's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. All right, check out hole 2, par 4, 741 feet. This is a challenging par 4. I feel like you have to execute 3 perfect shots in order to get a 4. It is not easy by any means, even if you're a long thrower. You've got OB on the road right and lined left with the white flags. Your second shot would be best if it came in and landed somewhere past this tree on the right. Your third shot into the green, and hopefully you can have a drop in 4.
I struggled on holes 1 and 2, and it's making me feel better that these were the first and second hardest holes on the course statistically. This tee shot is especially challenging. You can see Maria working that disc back, but look how close she is to the road. It pinches in the middle, really making that landing zone the narrowest part of the fairway.
As you can see, the terrain does slope down left, which is lined with OB. So you really want to make sure that you've hung your disc out wide enough to the right so that it finishes in bounds. Kat got kind of close, but, you know, she's still safe and in bounds.
She was thinking about it. Holly having to throw pretty much at the road and trust that disc to hyzer out early, and she does a great job.
Just another star strike near the short pad. Valerie, I like where it started out, but it just got so much ground play. Unfortunately, rolling out of bounds.
Should have just skipped over instead of just.
So now Valerie throwing her third shot. This is really about positioning. You don't want to get hung up in that bunch of trees on the right side. Make sure you end up in an open spot so you can get a nice clean up shot into the green.
The way this hole is shaped, I honestly don't see a lot of people taking a birdie out here. I think a birdie is not, I don't want to say it's out of the question, but it's definitely not something I'm thinking about.
No, me either. I've tried in practice, just wasn't able to get there for a legitimate look at a birdie. So I decided just to play it for a smart 4.
Mm-hmm. The OB line on the left side does pull away from the basket as you go down the fairway, but it's still close enough where it feels silly to do an aggressive flex shot for the green. It's also blind. Catrina, though, does try to get a little turn on her disc heading towards it, but she keeps it really low, not wanting to worry about her disc finishing out.
Very controlled shot. I like it. Maria with the longest drive, she can take a route that we haven't seen yet, going over the road around these trees.
It is wide open over there too. There is definitely a route. She gets tangled up in the last couple of branches as she finishes towards the green. Even with the good skip, she'd still have a long putt, but I love that play.
And that is a nice looking chip shot from Valerie. She'll have about an 18-footer.
What are you throwing your sidearm with here? Is this a fairway driver?
It's one of my Send It pigs.
Oh, a pig.
Yeah, it worked out great.
Yep, grabs right just outside the bullseye.
Or just like steal Gabe's camera. Just
Maria chips out an AVR X3 to the green. Catrina with a long look, but some branches kind of blocking the play. She gives it a nice soft bid. There was one birdie on the day today. Paige got the 3.
Oh, wow.
Wonder which, I would guess she went on the right side.
Valerie for her bogey.
The Maria route.
Right.
That would be my best guess.
If I could throw a 400-foot plus drive, I would also take that right route.
And just like hole 1, par feels good. Feels like you're sticking to your game plan.
All right, 3 pars and a bogey.
And we move on to hole 3. This tees off right near Tournament Central. It's a really fun downhill shot. I absolutely love this hole. You want to throw a fairway driver or a mid or something that can finish to the right down the middle, below these branches. Get as far as you can down there, setting yourself up for a pretty simple downhill up and down to the green. There's no out of bounds you have to worry about here. There is a little ditch behind the basket, but mostly you're just trying to avoid the natural OB, the limbs and the bushes that are on either side of the fairway.
Maria with her destroyer. Oh, I love that. Just cresting over the hill.
Thank you.
It's way down there.
Way down there. So much ground play.
Ooh, that's a bit high.
Right side is not bad, especially if you can throw turnover shots the way Catrina Allen can. She might have something to work with over there.
Got a Star Roadrunner.
Ooh.
Also a bit high. Tick to branch, but it ends up in a decent spot. Can see the basket. Just a bit offline and a bit low on that one.
Catrina still got a decent ways down there with that right kick. She has a forehand chip, just a standstill shot. And this green is all sand, so it's a really nice catch.
So good.
So good. This is a lot sharper of an angle, but Valerie has a strong sidearm, probably playing a skip shot here. Maybe it was too sharp to even go to the green. She might have been really pinched.
Just throwing a stud into the green.
Oh, yeah. So hole 1 was the second hardest hole. Hole 2 was the hardest hole. And hole 3 is the third hardest hole on the course.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
That's what the stats say.
the Thorn is just an intimidating starting course for folks.
I think they're just 3 really difficult holes to birdie. Even though this is a par 4, a 464-foot hole, it is still a par 3 for the FPO. So that is just out of reach.
Tap in a par putt.
Especially for that, gentle sloping to the right kind of anhyzer or turnover shot. It's really difficult to get it to carry that far and give yourself a putt. There were no birdies on the day.
No birdies.
That does not surprise me one bit. This is a long par 3.
It is, but I feel like if you had the perfect disc that like flipped up late and just kept coasting over that hill, you could get a putt at it.
It's there. It'll happen.
It is there.
It'll happen this weekend.
I'm going to see it. So our leaderboard so far, Paige, Maria, Alexis, Missy, all tied at first. Catrina, myself, Holland at 5th. And Kona, Kat, and Lisa tied at 8th.
Yeah, everyone keeping it right around par right now. Like we said, not a lot of birdies on the first 3 or 4 holes. But actually, I shouldn't say that. Hole 4, I feel like there are birdies.
Okay.
They're out there.
Yeah. Hole 4, par 4, 720 feet. You got OB on the left, and then there's a little creek on the right. But the creek on the right is not OB. It's just inconvenient and annoying if you get in there.
It's very boggy down there.
Okay, so you hopefully can get a drive as far as you can and then have a controlled upshot into the green to have a look at a 3.
The fairway slopes left to right pretty much the whole way down. That OB does come into play if you try to get too aggressive on the left-hand side. It's over there, but most people are going to be trying to do what Maria's doing here, working their way down to the right-hand side of the fairway or just keeping it in the middle.
So Maria throwing her Innova high-speed driver.
Catrina gets a lot of right carry, but checks up before it gets down to the watery ditch. Personally, I kind of like to be up higher on the hill here because I think it makes the second shot a little bit easier to get. But it looks like Catrina and Maria both kind of like that lower right side. You too. Is it
I think I'm
clearer down there?
Just hoping for more of a full flight out of the disc, which requires, fading right and a little bit of finish at the end.
Just trying to get some big distance off the tee.
Yeah. That looks like a great shot from Valerie. Also landing in a great position. So she throws a nice controlled shot into the green. She'll have a really long look at it if she's feeling brave. I decide that I'm going to throw the shrike and try to get all the way into the green since I got fairly far on my drive. A bit of a misfire. Run up in the sand is something special.
It is. Your back foot, you don't know what's going to happen. It could slide back, left, right, or just straight down.
So Maria punches one a little low and gets a bunch of flare skip over into this corner.
She'll have some bushes to contend with on her approach. Maybe not a look at a putt, but she'll be able to get up and down there for her par.
So Kat is in prime position to punch one all the way into the green. And that's what I'm looking for her to do. There's no reason to lay it up or be short here when you're looking right at the basket. That's a great shot. She'll have a putt at a 3. And I'm just not seeing really anything or any way to get to the pin from here. So I just want to make it out of the bushes and land in a good position so I can have a clean upshot into the green.
No problem. Just outside the bullseye.
Nice finessed up from Valerie.
Maria maybe lining up, trying to throw something in. Oh, nope, just trying to pitch up. Oh, lots of vines.
I love how she left it low and it got there most of the way on the ground.
Yep, slid it up.
Smart.
Catrina for birdie. Oh, just a little low. There were only 4 birdies on the day in the FPO field. Shout out Kristen Tatar, Holland Hanley. She's new to the FPO field just in the last few years, and she crushes. Stacy Haas, my MVP teammate, and Missy Gannon, finding the birdies on hole 4.
Little bogue tap in.
And right here, Holly, are you getting so excited because we're about to enter the woods?
I think at that moment I was actually thinking how mad I was when I was being greedy, trying to get the shrike all the way into the green when I could have just road runnered in the middle and got an easy par. I think I was like rethinking my entire day's game plan at that point, 2 bogeys in a row.
I'm Garrett Gerthy. People know me as Double G. I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
Whether I'm at home or on the road, Double G craft jerky is the snack that I go for.
I've actually found myself eating Double G craft jerky on my long drives to the next tournament.
We all know Double G's got a big arm, but he's also got a big heart. Every bag of Double G jerky that you buy supports children's disc golf and goes to a great cause.
You can find Double G craft jerky at doublegjerky.com.
Hole 5 is a 356-foot par 3. It is the first hole. We get to go back into the woods out here at the Thorn. You want to go over this hill with something that's turning very softly to the right. Right and left too far has a bunch of little sticky trees that you want to avoid because it gets really tough to throw your approach to the green. You just want to carry all the way down here with a little gentle hyzer and give yourself a putt for 2.
Maria throwing an Infinite Anubis, which is a mid-range. Wow.
Whoa.
This hole is 350.
I mean,
She just threw a mid in the circle.
that was Anubis is a mid.
Yeah.
Holy cow. That's unbelievable.
A bit of a misfire from Catrina, and the ricochet isn't as bad as it could have been. So she'll still be off of the fairway a bit, but open enough to have a look into the green.
I'm still so impressed that Maria threw a mid. I mean, it's uphill too. It does crest and go downhill, but really? Oh my gosh.
That is going right towards the trees. Unfortunately blocked by those. So she'll have some work to do to save par. I'm going to try to shape a shrike and park it, hopefully, like, you know, it's so easy in practice.
You get a lot of the way down there, but you are over in the little sticky trees. Is that right?
Yeah.
Some trees, some jail to contend with.
What a great standstill. Bit of a misfire, though. Man, she put a zing on it.
Valerie having to stretch way out around these trees to get a line with her sidearm. And she flexes one up to the green. What a nice shot.
That was really pretty.
Catrina having to throw a turnover to get to the green. She's so good at these. Floats it right up to just outside the bullseye. Had a weird angle over there, didn't you?
It was so sharp, yeah. I couldn't decide if I should do like a Thunderbird skip or if the pig would get there. So Maria putting for 2.
Oh, so many chains.
I wanted her to get that one.
There were 2 birdies on the day. Alexis Mandujano, and I will brag, I got this one.
Ooh.
With a 50-footer.
Look at you.
Oh, no. Catrina to save her bogey.
That's a good putt.
This is another hole that played as in the top 5 most difficult holes. Again, just because birdie is just out of reach for most of the FPO field. It takes a highly executed shot and a long putt.
That was a long par putt. She made it look easy.
She did. She's so solid on the green. I think she's one of those players that while you're watching, it's making you better. With that really clean form.
I like the way you put that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hole 6, par 4, 555 feet. This hole plays strategically. So you want to decide at what angle do you want to approach the green for your second shot, which determines where you should land your drive. I like to land right about here and have a little lazy hyzer into the green. Some people like to land high left and have more of a hyzer, a stronger hyzer shape into the green. It just really depends on what plays to your strengths. This is a 3-able hole, so I expect these ladies to be attacking this.
There is one thing for sure on this hole is the OB comes close to the basket. I would say 15 feet from the pin, just behind it.
Yeah.
So this approach is a little scary. You do really want to gauge your the landing of your disc as it gets close to the green.
Valerie has a really good shot. She'll be in a great position.
Catrina getting some big distance on her tee shot, and she pushes all the way almost to the tree line.
I decide to throw a Roadrunner and go for the right side landing.
Love that. You get a ton of distance as well.
Oh, I want that.
Maria throwing that infinite Anubis. Even though she got twiggled, it fought through a bit, so she'll have a decision to make.
Twiggled just was added to my vocabulary.
Valerie doing that flex shot, but chops it down a bit too aggressive on that angle and cuts into the hillside up there.
Holly going right with her game plan, having that lazy hyzer into the green. Look at that execution of your game plan.
Star Mako 3, baby.
Catrina with a similar looking shot.
She has those steady ed putters that she uses for a lot of her up shots, long and short. She's just a great example of what you can do with a putter. So Valerie having to shot shape a bit.
And this is a scary shot, wanting it. She's really controlling the angle of her disc and getting it to land softly.
Maria does have a look at it, but you have to ask yourself, is it worth it if I am this far away?
Or were you asking yourself that here?
Yeah, you know I was. Look at that creek. It's like right there.
It's right there. Oh, sneaks it in left side.
But when you're so close, it's hard to lay up.
Totally. Nice birdie. Holly was one of only 5 birdies on the day.
It was a sweet looking putt from Catrina.
Stephanie Vincent, Heather Young, and Kristen Tatar also got 3s. After dealing with some of the woods, bogey for Valerie, but Maria gets away with the par.
So if you watch the coverage from last year's Texas States, these are the holes that we played from the Dogwood course.
And I was very excited to play these holes. I've heard so much about them. Hole 7 is a short par 3. It's 300 feet, and there is out of bounds zigzagging through the fairway in this little marshy creek. The play here is a sidearm that finishes right to the green, but there is a little tiny narrow gap that you can finesse a backhand through as well. The basket is elevated this year on this OTB tower. There's no out of bounds around the green that you have to worry about. Just everywhere else on the fairway. Catrina floats something over all of the OB creeks and lands on the green just outside the circle.
She'll have about a 45-foot look at it. I switched between a Mirage and a Mako here, so I went with the old school Mako today. And I made it over the creek, but clipping that leaf kind of killed the vibe, so I land really far away, probably about 66 feet.
I feel like this camera angle doesn't do it justice, but this gap is so tight. It's so scary to turn your back to it here. These ladies are making it look easy.
Maria with that mid-range that plays a lot like a Mako. I saw her just making that thing do magic. I had to find out what it was. And look at this.
The height is so good, so confident.
That was such a good sidearm from Valerie. We were just talking about how we had both been working on our sidearms in the off season, and then she busts that tasty thing out.
Are you running it here? Or are you laying
yeah,
up?
I was feeling really brave because it was windless, and why not?
Love that. Nice soft bid. Maria has some trees she's got to putt through. It looks like she's lining it up as well. In Texas, it sounds a little too much like a gunshot in the woods.
Catrina Allen for birdie. Cash money.
Wow. Outside the circle, no problem.
I love how she just casually walks up and gets her disc. Like, I make these all the time, folks. It's not that exciting. Just a little
No big deal.
casual stroll to get it out of the basket.
Ugh, love the angle on that GK replay. And that was about as close to the heart of the basket as you can get.
Very calm, cool, and collected. So Valerie putting for birdie from her sidearm shot. She put a good height on it, though.
Yeah, I was forcing a little Annie angle. Didn't quite get enough on it. Catrina was one of only 4 birdies on the day. I'm surprised there weren't more than that.
I think it's just hard to get that late turn.
It leaves a long putt every time.
So I tap in for the 3.
Deanne Carey, Owen Scoggins, and Des Redding also finding birdies.
Oh, man. This is just the best hole there is.
I agree 100%.
Oh, my gosh.
I love it.
I mean, the whole course used to feel like this, and it was such a treat. But here we are, hole 8. It's a par 5 for the women. 564 feet. You might think that's not very long to be a par 5, but just check out what you have to navigate through to get there. Plus, you have to get over this out-of-bounds creek. Now, if you land in a prime position, you've got a couple of open gaps to get into the green for an eagle look. Other than that, I'd say it plays as a decent par 4 for the women, and I think it's a fairly generous par 5, in my opinion.
100%. I agree with Holly here. There's a lot of trouble you can get in, and a tree kick can put you in some areas that it's really difficult to get out of. But there is, I think, generally enough space that a par 4 is great, sufficient for the FPO. It averaged as a 4.64 for the FPO field.
Got a maroon Metal Flake Roadrunner
Oh, yeah.
off the tee.
The drive, of course, is difficult. It's long, it's narrow. But I think the real tester here is the second shot.
Yeah, and also the positioning of the first one. You know, you can't just fling something and hope to get lucky. I feel like you should be strategic here.
There are 2, I think, defined options on your second shot.
And that's low, but one good thing about low shots is that they don't have a long ways to go if they hit a tree. So, you know, she did hit the base of that tree and only went about 3 feet.
Low shot, low error.
Yes, ma'am. So Maria does a full send, just
No.
trying to throw it as far as she can, and she does trickle into that out of bounds creek or crick. Which one do you say?
I say creek.
Okay. Creek for me, no crick over here.
But after being in Montana last year, everyone says crick there.
All right, let us know in the comments. What is it? Creek, crick. Valerie does a nice finesse controlled placement shot. I'm getting greedy. I'm about to try to sling this star shrike.
Are you going big here?
I'm
Big
trying
turnover?
to.
Oh.
Slips out of the hand. Almost hurts Blaine. But that's okay.
Keeping him on his toes.
The thing about this hole is it's a par 5. So, you know, you got basically one stroke to throw away, I feel like.
Yeah, you got some wiggle room.
So now I'm just, you know, recovery mode, look for a gap, get as far as possible.
Holly wiggling in the holly bush.
Yeah, that Holly was poking me, and I said that to myself. Holly poking Holly.
Catrina opts just for a standstill, not trying to put too much behind it. And she'll give herself a putt for birdie. Or no, eagle? Eagle putt? Valerie throwing her third shot to the green.
I love that.
Me too. Just outside the circle.
That forehand turnover.
Buttery. It's so much fun to watch. Maria with a funky stance along this creek. Looks like she's lining up a forehand roller. She covers some ground. Holly with your fifth shot?
Yep. Fourth shot.
Fourth shot. Hunting.
I mean, it was right there at 90 feet.
Oh, no.
So Catrina tries to float one up there and hits that pencil tree. Long look at it for Valerie Mandujano.
I believe this is for Maria to save her par.
Drop.
Yeah, that little OB creek in the middle, or crick, is brutal. Kind of sneaks up on you.
I don't even think about
Me
it.
neither, not a bit.
It's like
until you're walking over it.
Exactly. Until I'm going over that little bridge, I don't even think about it. So Catrina, unfortunately, misses her putt. Now I've got a long par save since I skipped off the top of the basket from that aggressive downtown run.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Nobody wants to make a 30-foot comebacker, so try not to zing it so far in the future.
Especially not for par.
Right? So Kat cleaning up for her par.
She took most of her strokes within 60 feet of the basket, so you can see this hole is extremely eagleable.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Man, this is a risk-reward one for sure.
Unfortunately, Maria leaving with the bogey, Valerie getting the par, and we move on to the final hole. Hole 9 is a very steep uphill par 3. It's 295 feet, but it plays so much longer than that. You want to avoid the center tree and the group of trees on the left-hand side. More than anything, you just want to make sure you don't kick left. Right is the way to error. If you're going to error, you want to carry as far as you can up this hill and give yourself a long putt. A lot of people will filter left into this little clump of trees that we're passing by. Thanks again to the Disc Barn for covering the drone footage today. They are an online retailer. They have thousands of discs. Go check them out.
So this is uphill, and it's only 295, but it plays a lot longer than that. And the harder you try to throw it, the more squirrely your drive can get. So you really want to try to decide, are you trying to get a birdie or are you just trying to get an easy 3? I wanted to get a birdie, so I threw it as hard as I could. And luckily, I didn't know that happened, but I am so glad it did. And usually, right where the disc finishes with like not a really aggressive throw, there's these sand paths that go left and right, and then you're sort of blocked. You can't see the green very well. So this is a tricky hole. Mm-hmm. You feel like you got a good shot, and then you get up there and you're like, wait a second.
I got nothing.
And not that it's a really hard shot into the green. It's just, you have to think about the shot shaping for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I decided I didn't want any piece of another 30-foot comebacker.
Maria had a little gap to work through, but she just pitches up.
So this is where Kat's drive landed, putting for birdie. It's a bit high.
There were only 3 birdies on the day today. Rebecca Cox, Stacy Haas, and Hannah Blomroos.
I mean, just to think this is a hole under 300 feet, and out of 47, 48 women, we only had 3 birdies?
Mm-hmm. And I think one of them, from what I can tell on the stats, was a circle 2 putt.
Doesn't even make sense. But as I mentioned, it just plays so much longer. And then, usually where your disc lands sometimes isn't the best spot. So I drop in for par, and that concludes our front 9 round 1 coverage here at the Thorn.
Let's take a peek at the card before we go. There's a few bogeys sprinkled throughout. And the real deal here, though, is playing clean. There are not a lot of birdies you can get on this front 9. They're out there, but it's just a lot more difficult than what we've played on in the past. So keeping a clean par round is what's going to get you scoring low here. I estimate like a 4 down will be hot round. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
Yeah, we see some 3 downs in first place right now. Still about half the round to play for Paige and Holland, both sitting at 3 down. Everyone else hanging out under par to stay in the top 10. So clean is queen here, folks. Thanks for hanging out with us on the front 9. We still have 9 more holes left to play. It's a nice calm day in Texas, a rare ruby. I'm Madison Walker.
Holly Finley, and we'll see you on the next one.